This week on the podcast, we find out that if it's secret and it's elite, then it can't be good. We watch The Skulls, and you're listening to Geeked Out.
Popcorn in our hands, ready for the show. From the classics to the blockbusters, we're always in the know. Throwing references like confetti, we keep it real. Geeked Out Podcast, we make you feel. We're the critics you can trust.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Geeked Out. My name is Kyle.
And I'm Juan.
And as we come into this third week of our Guilty Pleasure series of movies, this was my pick, and I had us watch, as you heard in the opening, The Skulls. Now, for those of you who don't know, this was a movie that came out March 31st of the year 2000, and it was... I'm going to call it a college drama thriller. You think that would suffice?
I'd say so. That sounds about right.
So before we get into the numbers and everything, I'm curious, I'm assuming you've seen this before. I mean, this movie's 25 years old. I can't believe I'm saying that. It makes me feel old, but
right.
I'm assuming you've seen it.
I definitely have seen this at least once.
Just once?
I could have seen it a couple of times. I don't think we rented it. I believe this was a movie network watch for me, so as many times as it appeared on the movie network that I was able to catch it on, I'd say maybe once or twice, perhaps. But even though I remember part of one scene, I didn't remember much of anything else.
What scene would that be?
Basically when the two main characters jumped over the that I don't know what was that.
Oh, the moat?
Moat, yes.
Okay.
I remember that part, and that's about it. That's about it.
Well,
yeah.
Considering this was the movie that I suggested, I think it's probably going to come as no surprise that I have seen this movie. If I've seen it once, I've seen it 25 times.
Oh my God.
I mean,
Really?
That might be an exaggeration, but yeah, so...
At least a solid 15 times.
Oh, for sure. So, again, for me, this was not a theater movie. This was not I don't think it was even a rental. It probably would have been a movie network for me as well. But then, over the years, I watched it on the movie network. God, I don't know how many times. And then eventually I did own it. I had it on DVD for I don't know how long. And it's just always been one of those like comfort movies for me. I don't know why I enjoyed it so much, but it's just always been there for me.
Yeah, we all have those, those type of movies that we frequent. That's in our personal Rolodex of movies that we watch all the time. That's pretty cool. I could see why. There are definitely elements of this that I thoroughly enjoy.
And I also think that I'm going to get to the cast in just a minute, but when I looked at the cast of this movie, almost every single member of this cast has been a huge part of my movie watching, my television, through basically my entire life. So why don't we get into that for just a minute? As I said, the movie was released March 31st, 2000. It made a worldwide box office return of $50 million on a budget of $35 million. It currently sits at 5.6 out of 10 on IMDb. Here's where it gets fun. Rotten Tomatoes has this movie rotten with a tomato meter score of 9%.
Oh, I can see why.
So that's the critics, and the popcorn meter, which is the audience, still would be considered rotten. It sits at a 43%.
Oh my God!
They're
The
all
eyes,
wrong.
like, you know
They,
what?
they're all wrong.
Are they?
So
Are they?
now,
I don't know
now
about that, but
I need to get into this for a second. So the movie was directed by Rob Cohen, and no, he is not one of the Coen brothers. However, he's
yeah,
someone that
stop that.
I think a lot of us know a lot of his filmography. So I'm going to give you a rundown of some of his
All
more
amazing, legendary
more well-known movies,
movies.
starting with Dragon, the Bruce Lee story.
Ooh, hey,
He
I
he
like that.
did Dragonheart. This movie, The
Oh.
Skulls, followed The Skulls up with The Fast and the Furious,
The first one?
the first one.
Oh shit!
He also directed Triple X,
Ooh,
and then it kind of goes downhill with Stealth, The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, and Alex Cross.
oh my God!
Oh, and Hurricane Heist,
Hurricane. Oh,
the movie where they use a hurricane to pull off a heist.
I mean, he had some hits there at the beginning.
He did. He's
Oh,
kind of all over the map a little bit with his filmography. But I told you before we started. I almost said directing. Before we started recording, that by me picking The Skulls, I helped you avoid something. Would you like to know what that was?
my voice.
So the writer of this movie is a man by the name of John Pogue, who also wrote a movie that I considered nominating for us to do in this episode, but I chose The Skulls instead. And that movie is Rollerball.
Oh, he directed that one?
He wrote that one.
Oh, he wrote that one. Okay.
So I considered having us actually do Rollerball, but I went with The Skulls instead.
Ooh. Both equally,
Bad?
yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, this movie is, in my opinion, is considerably head and shoulders better than Rollerball.
Ah.
But now I'm going to get
Yeah.
into oh, sorry.
The
Go
idea,
ahead.
the concept of this movie, for sure. There's things in this movie that definitely are superior compared to Rollerball, for sure.
The only thing Rollerball has over this, and this is because I'm a huge wrestling fan, is Paul Heyman.
And LL Cool J.
Yeah, but he's not a wrestler. Paul Heyman, Paulie Dangerous. I mean,
That's true. And he was the announcer.
and he earned every penny of his paycheck for that movie. But I digress.
Which is going to use WWE employees. You should have used, what's his name? Jerry? Not Jerry. What's the other one?
Jim Ross,
Yeah.
the Oklahoman accent calling Rollerball.
That would have been insane. The humanity. Oh, God.
He's broken in half.
Damn you, Triple H.
He-
He'd be
he-
cursing
was-
people
him
out.
Jim
Curse
Ross
you
and
to hell. Like, oh, shit.
Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler might be the most succinct voices of my childhood.
For sure. For sure. I still describe a certain body type on a woman as puppies.
Thanks to the king.
Absolutely.
So I mentioned earlier about this cast. Now I'm going to read them and I'm going to explain. Like, I think it's obvious where they would have fit into, like I said, being such a big part of my life and my childhood. But starting with Joshua Jackson, starts off
Yeah.
when we're kids in the Mighty Ducks, graduates on as we become teenagers into Dawson's Creek, into this.
Yeah.
Then you've got Paul Walker, who I saw a couple things before this, like Varsity Blues. There was a couple other movies, but then after this, I mean, Fast and Furious. No more needs to be said. Like cornerstone of that franchise. Then you got Harper Hill, who I'm a big fan of.
He's been in a bunch of TV shows. He's the guy that's been floating around different TV shows for the past 30 years.
Well, for me, Harper Hill will always be CSI New York. He will always be the Emmy from CSI New York.
He was a sitcom guy in a lot of black sitcoms. And, he's in a bunch of them. I know he was in. I first knew him from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He was Lisa's boyfriend when, no, they were friends. They were just friends. Sorry, they were just friends. And Will, who was Lisa's boyfriend, thought that something was going on between them, so he's following around in a fat suit. It was funny. Anyway,
I don't remember
that was my intro. You'd know it as soon as you saw that.
I've probably seen it.
Because it's pretty iconic. It's pretty funny, and that's when I first saw him or knew about him.
Okay, well, next we have Leslie Bibb, she's been in so many different movies. Just even whether it be a bit part or supporting role, I've seen her in so many different movies. Yeah, the blonde.
She was goddamn Tony Stark smashed her.
Yes, she was. She was the journalist in the first Iron Man.
Smashed the one who and made Pepper Pot.
Pepper Potts says she's escorting her out and says she has to take out the trash.
Yeah. And then hooks up with Pepper Potts. God damn, Tony Stark, you're a legend.
Then, of course, we have, speaking of legends, we've got two of them here. We've got Craig T. Nelson, a.k.a. Coach, for the majority of my childhood. I mean,
there's three legends.
I watched reruns of that show for...
Coach?
Oh, yeah.
Coach was hilarious. I don't even know why. It was to me as a kid. I'd have to rewatch it to, figure it out. But it wasn't a show that, made me belly laugh or anything like that. I don't even know if it made me chuckle. I just liked watching it.
Yeah, I was the same way. And I had no idea because I wasn't old enough when it came out, but I didn't realize that Coach was a spinoff of Cheers.
Oh, really?
Just like Frasier is a spinoff of Cheers.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Next we have William Peterson, who I know he's been in a lot of movies. I haven't really seen many of his movies. For me, he's Gil Grissom. We'll always be Gil Grissom from CSI, the original. I don't even
know his name, bro. I don't even know his name. I just call him CSI, bro. That's CSI, bro. He's CSI because he was the greatest CSI investigator. So, he was even better than Horatio.
Well, he was the worst of the... Horatio was the worst of the three.
But he was the coolest.
Oh, those shades. Whew.
And those one-liners can't be beat. They can't be beat.
I believe there's a supercut on YouTube somewhere that has all of his one-liners in just like a 10-minute video or something like that. I would watch it, but I think I would just pass out from the eye rolling.
I don't think anyone has made it past 3 minutes of that 30-minute video. I don't think it's possible.
Wouldn't think so.
I think they use that to get confessions out of terrorists and stuff.
Yeah. And last but not least,
make us do it.
Last but not least, we have the one and only Christopher McDonald, aka one of the best comedic villains in a movie, Mr. Shooter McGavin.
Yeah.
Who somehow in this movie plays a heavy. He's a thug, almost like a bouncer security guard.
It doesn't even feel right that he was this.
I've
Dune.
never
It's like a
once, and I
Dune.
I
It's like,
know
no,
I know Christopher McDonald is a decently big guy. I have never once looked at him and thought, you're an intimidating physical presence, aren't you?
not at all.
No, dude, not even when he's going up against Leslie Bibb's character, who's what, 115 pounds?
Oh, yeah, she's
I'm not even worried for her.
skinny. Not really. Not really. Which is crazy that, you know,
But to
this
go into
guy.
what this movie is
We'll get
about,
there.
if you've never seen it, an Ivy League senior is recruited to join the most elite of secret societies. It is everything he has ever dreamt of until it turns bad, and he must fight to get out with his life. Now, this movie, it takes place in an Ivy League school. I believe it's supposed to be Yale, but they couldn't they wouldn't sign off on it. So through the movie, you just keep constantly seeing like the big shield logo with a Y. Their rowing team is referred to as the Bulldogs, and Yale is the Yale Bulldogs. So it's just kind of like nondescript Ivy League school, wink, wink.
Mm.
But the Skulls Secret Society is actually based on a real secret society called Skull and Bones.
Okay. I think I vaguely remember.
Now, in the movie, they say that at least 3 presidents have been members. I forget if they say of the Skulls or just of secret societies. I don't know if that's true. I couldn't find anything to confirm or deny that. But it would make sense considering what you kind of find out about these people and this society.
Yeah, yeah. I have some questions about that whole network community of secret society. That's a society, yet you know, it just it felt very. It didn't feel like a society to me. It just felt like it was very very localized. I didn't
It it
feel that it was
it
global, or not even global. Just even if it was just all around the country, I didn't feel it at all.
Yeah, the way they kind of set it up is it almost kind of seems like a very elitist fraternity. Like to me, it just seems like a fraternity
Yeah.
with a lot of money. And instead of like a 2-story house that all the frat guys live in, they have seemingly an entire section of this college or university, whatever you want to call it, where they have all their secretive meetings and rituals and things like that.
Yeah,
And they,
it
and they
definitely gave off more the feel of that. Yeah, yeah, you're right.
and they say some ridiculous things in it. I mean, at one point they say that our rules in the society supersede those of the outside world, which we end up seeing through the movie. But like, so if you're a member of the society and you commit armed robbery, it's like, no, you're not going to have to deal with the police. You have to deal with the Skulls. Well, that's not how the world works.
Yeah, unless I mean they didn't really say that they're deep into all aspects of law enforcement and the courts, and they didn't really explain it that way, or at least show us that they do have those type of members in all those facets. They, so we know that you know they are that connected,
Well,
that powerful, that what they say is true. You feel it, like you believe it.
and I get that the movie's only like an hour and 40 minutes or whatever, but we really only ever meet Luke and Caleb and Caleb's father Lytton and Senator Ames, who's William Peterson. You don't meet any, like, they come in with this group of, say, 10 to 12, I guess, new recruits, whatever you want to call them. You don't get to meet or talk to a single one of those people.
You really don't know anything about them. Are they from the same school? They're from
Yeah,
the same school,
I think
right?
they're all supposed to be from the same school.
No backstory, no nothing.
No,
At
you
least,
barely get names.
yeah, no names, no nothing. Like, why are they all there? Why were they chosen specifically?
Well,
It couldn't
so.
just because they're pretty and white. It has to be more than that.
Oh, this movie is so white.
Are they all like? Are they all? Um, is their family part of the Skulls, and that's why they're there? Just like Paul Walker's
Well,
character. I wish, you know what I mean, we had more explanation.
yeah, because you see in the beginning, so they started off with Luke. First of all, the names in this movie: Lucas McNamara and Caleb Mandrake. What a mouthful those names are.
Exactly. Which would have made sense if they incorporated those like old world names into like that's why they're there because they're a legacy.
Well, that's fine for Caleb because he is a legacy. Luke is just
Exactly.
they literally refer to him as a townie.
They
Like he comes from nothing. And
did at the beginning, yeah.
well, yeah. So at the beginning, you have Luke and Will, who's Hill Harper's character. They're clearly best friends. They're roommates. Will is the cox for their rowing team because Luke rows crew. And you have these two guys sitting there in the stands watching them, and they're discussing them. Like, oh, what do you think of Luke? And he says, well, he's a townie. Like I don't know, because they say, where did he learn to row?
They're exposition. They're just
That's
exposition.
that's all they are.
Just
Because the
dumb.
guy's like, I imagine he learned how to row in the local sewers because he's a townie.
Oh, did you
And
know his mom was murdered or killed in a whatever, however she died?
yeah, he's
It's
like,
like, all right, man. I get. No one
mom
talks
died.
like this.
Well, no one talks this. He literally goes, his mother was killed in a car accident, father unknown. And
Okay.
so you go from that, like, and the guy says he's turned them all the other societies down. So either he doesn't want to join a society or he's waiting for us. So clearly, you know, these guys represent the Skulls. Then you go from that description to Caleb pulling up in a convertible with 4 or 5 different girls.
That was
And
a boss. That
and
was
the
such
guy-
a boss intro.
The guy just goes, well, he was a skull the day he was born. No other backstory.
You don't need no other backstory at that point. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? We don't need it right now. We just need Paul Walker pull up with these 4 chicks and get up to block the view of one of the girls, and then one of the girls says,
I can't
"I
see.
can see." And he's like, "Bitch,
His response, he doesn't even turn around. He just
what
goes,
do you say?"
he
Oh,
goes,
man, I
he
wrote
goes,
it down. What do you
imagine
say?
it.
Yeah. It just tells you the type of character he is right off the bat, right? In that those 3 seconds of screen time, you know exactly his personality.
Well,
It was a pretty sweet intro. I'm not gonna lie.
now, they never, like, they go into it a little bit, but so clearly Will has a dislike, a distrust of these societies. Because as the quote that I use when we open the episode, he keeps saying that if it's secret and it's elite, then it can't be good. So he clearly has a dislike for this, even though his best friend wants this more than anything. And the only reason that we're given that Luke wants to be a part of the Skulls is because he wants to go to Harvard Law. And he says that when he graduates the university he's at now, he's going to owe them about $100,000. Then he's going to go to law school and is probably going to owe Harvard 100 to 150. So it's basically like he's just saying, I want to get into this so I can pay to achieve my dream. Not talking about the contacts that he can make, the relationships he can make, and use those relationships to accomplish this dream, to further his career, to make a better life. Nope, it's just about the money.
Just the fact that he'll be in debt when he graduates. Yeah, it's very shallow and not a real logical reason why somebody would just join society. I mean, there's other ways to go about.
I mean, it sucks, but you get financial
You're-
aid like
yeah.
everybody else.
Yeah, you don't have to join a secret society, so you're not in so much debt when you get out of school. There are way better ways to deal with that. So, yeah, his motivations are pretty paper thin, for sure.
So I'm going to kind of like we've been doing, just kind of read the guidelines and whatnot as we talk about certain parts of the movie. So Luke is mysteriously selected to join the Skulls. The society promises wealth, influence, and opportunities that he never had. He, along with his other initiates, undergoes the initiation tasks and becomes bonded with his fellow inductee and soulmate, Caleb Mandrake.
Yeah, I hate it every time they said that. I cringe. I was like, you could have came up with a different word than soulmate.
So,
Jesus Christ. All right.
okay, so we'll leave it at that for now. I will say that I did kind of like the whole initiation, like the whole cloak and dagger when the phone rings and be at this payphone, be at this place, and they're like 30 seconds.
Yes.
Now, number one, he's like, be at this place 40 seconds. Be at this next place 30 seconds. If you can't run as fast as Usain Bolt, you're out.
It's over. You better get your ass over here. And I love the fact they're like, look at the windowsill. Look, and it said, drink me.
Yeah.
And he drinks it. Motherfucker, if I'm drinking a mysterious substance, I guess, well, not against his will, but in order to join like a society or something, I'm gonna drink it and then sit down because I'm gonna just assume that it's gonna probably knock me out. It's a safe assumption, right?
Yeah.
Nah, he just drinks it and then, continues to stand and then immediately starts to get woozy and then drops to the ground.
And what I find that is odd that's never explained is you see a view from outside the window and someone taking pictures. Now, those pictures will later resurface, but the person who they resurface, who has them, could not possibly have taken them. So, I mean, spoiler alert, Will has the pictures. Will is with Chloe when he gets the call. So he clearly can't be the one taking the pictures. So A, is he working with someone? Because Will writes for the school paper and he's going to be doing an expose on the Skulls. So is he working with someone on this story?
No.
Or does he somehow steal those pictures from God knows where?
I think he stole those pictures. Because I don't think it was anybody from the paper. Unless it's just convenient, but they didn't explain it.
No, that's what I mean.
And how would they know that he would be, you know what I mean? Because he was getting random calls to go at random spots. So I'm going to assume it was just somebody that was with the Skulls. But why would they take pictures? I have no idea, man. I don't fucking know, bro. I don't fucking know, bro.
So
I don't know.
This whole initiation thing. Apparently, we're told that, and I'm guessing it's on this campus alone There's multiple different secret societies, and these new recruits are tasked with going to steal a mascot, a snake. Now, they get to, so these are supposedly these elite, rich, wealthy societies. Apparently, they have no security measures because 10 guys just
At
scaled
all.
a concrete
At
fence.
all. There is no security throughout this whole movie, where there should be lots of security.
There should be constant.
But if there was, then we wouldn't have
A movie.
aspects of this movie. You know what I'm saying? So I guess for this story, there is no
But
security. Security doesn't exist.
no,
They didn't
and
think
this
of that
is
in this
this
world.
is the moment where Luke and Caleb, they're not even named as, I hate this term as well, soulmates, but they immediately separate themselves from the rest of the group because they are the ones who steal this snake while the rest of them just stand and watch and then take full credit
altogether.
for.
Yeah. Yeah, they were so useless.
The initiation goes further with the branding scene, which I have some problems with.
I have some problems too, bro.
Why don't
First
you
of
go
all,
first?
okay, the branding itself, sure. There's lots of clubs and societies and what have you that do a branding type of initiation. But what they don't do, where they don't brand you, is your fucking wrist.
It's a secret society that no one can know you're a part of.
If you're gonna
And
brand
yet,
somebody, is
hey, I
do it in a
raised my.
secret
Well, it's
spot
like
on your body.
it's like I wear a short sleeve shirt. Oh, what's that? Nothing.
If you go swimming, it's over. Like, unless you gotta wear your watch all the time.
That's the other problem. If you and I have worked in an industry where we've gotten burned several times.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever? So when you get burned, and anybody who has before, it hurts. If anything touches that burn for the next
Oh
what,
my God.
6 hours, day, 2 days, it hurts. These guys get a full brand, and within about 30 seconds, put a watch face right on top of it.
But it was cold. I'm sure the steel was cold.
That
The
doesn't
watch.
matter. It could have came out of a freezer and it wouldn't have mattered.
No, no, that should be tender as hell. What are you doing? And they strapped that fucking watch on as if they are immune to pain.
I mean, they were nice watches, don't get me wrong, but still.
They were nice as hell.
Now,
But
one of
why is
my
a
biggest,
wrist? Why is a wrist?
I
God
I don't
damn
know.
it, through the chest or something.
I was gonna say, do
I was
something
so
on the chest
bothered
where
by
you
that.
you
That just
can't see
I was
it.
that bothered me so much. The placement of that brand. I
I
don't know
agree.
why. It's such a stupid spot. Oh,
Now,
anyways.
so after this whole initiation, this was a big point of contention I had with the entire movie. So after they go and steal this thing, Luke ends up getting wet because him and Caleb fall into a moat when they're retrieving this snake.
Yeah.
So I won't even go into that. But
I love
when
how
go on.
when just before they fall, uh, freaking what's his character? That's Joshua Jackson, or whatever. What's
Josh
his
was
name?
Luke and Paul Walker is Caleb.
Okay, Luke was holding Caleb, preventing him from falling, and then Caleb's like, "Pull me up,
Don't let me go.
pull you up." Luke is fighting for his fucking life right now.
Well, Luke Luke is
He's fighting
holding
for his life.
Luke is holding himself up. He's holding a solid steel snake, which probably weighs 100 pounds.
Oh yeah, at least.
And he's holding up 160, 170 pound Paul Walker.
And he's talking about lift me up. Like, bitch, I'm just gonna drop both of us. How about that?
He should have been like, "You're lucky I had the strength to
Pull you.
stop us."
I'd be so mad at that moment. I might have pulled his ass up. Pull you up, bitch. I'm struggling. I'm struggling right now.
Pull him up just to push him off.
God damn. Yeah, but they ended up falling, and luckily that moat was deep enough to where they didn't
good.
break their necks.
I'm watching it going, that's got to be like 3 feet deep. Nope, it's at least 6 feet because neither one of them are touching the bottom.
Right? They sink all the way in when they fucking dive. That shit was funny. Yeah. I don't think the person who made that moat would have made it that deep, but for the sake of the movie, we'll go with it. We'll just go with it.
So one of my biggest points of contention is the next morning when Luke gets back to his dorm room, which, first of all, these are the biggest dorm rooms I've ever seen. They have a full-size living room in between their 2 bedrooms. But that's not the point.
It's an Ivy League. So maybe
and they're seniors, I guess. But he gets back, and Will and Chloe are there in the apartment, the dorm room, whatever. And they knew, both Will and Chloe, knew how badly Luke wanted to do this, wanted to be a part of this, knew that this was a way for him to secure his future and achieve everything he's worked for so hard through these 4 years of university.
And they're all best friends, so they should be supporting each other's
Which, you know what? Chloe supports him cautiously because she says she once dated someone who was in the Skulls and he kind of disappeared on her, so she's very cautious. Will, on the other hand, he acts like Joshua Jackson is his boyfriend who just cheated on him and is now coming in after having an affair. Like
instantly became a hater. Just a hater.
And he starts saying to him, like, so there's going to be 2-3 nights a week. I'm not going to know where you are. I'm not going to know what you're doing.
Right? Why the fuck do you care?
Dude, we're friends. No, you're not going to know where I am at every moment.
Yeah, that shit was weird, bro.
I have friends. My best friend, I've been friends with him for almost 35 years. There has never been a point in our lives or our friendship that I have
keep tabs on him at all times.
No, there's never been a time in our friendship where either one of us has been like, I need to know where you are, I need to know what you're doing, and I need to know who you're with.
Right? Because if you did, you wouldn't have many friends.
Right? Exactly.
So,
and I don't know, it's always bothered me about this movie because from this moment on, Hill Harper almost becomes like an afterthought as a character for a portion of the movie. Because he just leaves, and it's like we never see him again until he's important to the story.
And we're supposed to believe that Luke and him are like good friends.
They act like brothers.
But you don't. So the fact that he would flip the script and just be a total hater, jealous, almost like a jealous boyfriend is strange. If that's supposed to be your best friend, there's no conversation to lead up to that, maybe, or there's no build up. I wish there was a slow build to that confrontation instead of it just happening.
So the only thing that I can think of, and I literally just thought of this right now, the only thing I can think of why he might get so upset is because he is planning on doing this massive expose. And I'm sure that he's thinking that if he does this, because this secret society is so big and has so many influential members, that it's going to help him after he graduates. So I'm wondering, because one of the first things he does is he's like, okay, tell us what happened. Tell us everything. Like, he's almost like he's pumping him for information. And when Luke says, I can't tell you, it's almost like that's the moment where he's like, well, I was thinking that maybe in his head, it's almost like he's thinking, I was thinking maybe you could do this and kind of work like a double agent and give me the inside scoop. And when he's showing that he's not willing to do that, he's like, to hell with you. I'll do it on my own. That's the only way I can see this being somewhat believable that he would behave this way after more or less almost calling him his brother.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been great if we had that conversation and that would led to that. You know what I mean? Like, there's no, you have to make it make sense in your head,
Yeah.
kind of do your own headcanon for that to make sense instead of the movie just showing it. So we didn't have to do that ourselves. You know what I mean? It would have made for a better story, but they decided not to, and which is stupid because we don't. The motivations of these characters are
They're
very
very everybody in this movie is incredibly selfish.
nonsensical. Yeah, yeah, and very flat.
Yeah.
No depth. The only real depth is the main character, really, and there's not much there either.
No. So after this, Will, who, as we said, has been investigating the skulls, is found dead under suspicious circumstances.
The only black character. You know, I was mad. I was like, oh, they got rid of the only brother.
No.
What?
Detective Sparrow.
I mean, okay, this movie obviously has a one black man rule, so they had to get
One at
rid
a
of one
time.
to bring in the other guys. So it's the Walking Dead rules.
So Luke refuses to believe that Will's death is a suicide. He begins digging into the truth, discovering evidence that Will was murdered. Will was murdered. The Skull's leadership, especially Senator Ames Leverett, who is William Peterson and kind of a mentor figure towards Luke, and Caleb's father, Judge Lytton Mandrake, we'll get back to that, warn Luke away from investigating his friend's death. So there's not really much investigation. He basically recruits buddies of his from high school who are like career criminals to be like, I need you guys to help me spy. And because everything in the Skulls area is videotaped. So he's like, I need a copy of those tapes. I need to see what happened. Because he finds Will hanging in the paper, the office of the newspaper, and then later comes to find out that what actually happened was Caleb caught him in what they call the ritual room, taking pictures, taking notes, things like that. There was a physical altercation, and Will fell and broke his neck. So they decided to cover it up to make it look like a suicide. Well, he wants to confirm that. And that's not what the tape shows. In fact, the tape shows that when Caleb left, Will was still alive. And some of the Skull goons, thugs, whatever you want to call them, came. And when I say goons and thugs, you know I mean Christopher McDonald. Come and actually did break his neck, which is a very visceral scene to watch. Even though it's on a grainy security tape, the sound effect alone
because it was loud.
Is unsettling.
That security camera did not pick up that sound that clear. I don't know what the hell. Did they have a speaker on at that particular point in time? I don't know, but that shit was loud as hell.
Dude, my microphone right now is a couple inches from my mouth. I don't know if it would pick up that noise that clearly.
It was crazy. And I had a feeling that just from how the distance between where he fell and where he was being like hung up from before he fell, I had a feeling he would probably have survived that because it wasn't that fall hard of a fall or even a fall
He,
that far
he
of a
fell
fall.
maybe just a few feet, but I get that if you fall like that at the right angle and hit your head or your neck,
Yeah,
it could happen. But even the detective who approaches Luke tells him like that he had a large contusion on the back of his head, as if he had been hit in the head with a sledgehammer, which
exactly.
I think is
When
what
I
makes one of the reasons that Luke really decides like I need to look into this a little further.
yeah, and if you fell from there, I don't think it would have cracked your skull that hard.
Not like
But I
you
don't
would
know.
hit by this with a sledgehammer.
No, not at all. So like you start if if you're paying attention, you could probably have seen that twist coming, even though you didn't would not have known who would have done the final blow. But I thought that it was gonna be Paul Walker's character, Caleb, that killed him. I thought it was
I,
gonna be a twist where he was just lying. Because
I
he
kind
seemed
of,
like just the way he delivered his lines seems like he could just totally be lying. Because the
yeah,
way Paul Walker was delivering his lines, there was like a deadness in his eyes,
yeah,
and he was just on autopilot. He was just spewing out lines, which was cool. Which was I found was really it was a very good performance. And yeah, that's where I was going with the movie. I thought it was going to be a twist like that, which would have been cool, but I still appreciated the twist that they had. It was
yeah. I
fun.
agree. I will say that before like Will's death and all that, you really get to see what financial benefits the skulls offer. I mean, there's a scene where he goes to an ATM and all of a sudden his bank account has $20,000. They go to this private island that the skulls own, which I believe I did read that the Skull and Bones, the real one, actually do own an island similar to this. Um,
Okay.
they get these lavish rooms with these tuxedos. There's literally a parade of hookers
Bro, that
set to,
fucking
set to
scene.
set to
Oh my
Creed's
God, man.
higher.
Oh man. I forget
One
what
of the,
what was said just before the women come. He's like, oh yeah, it has its benefits or some shit. And here come the whores.
one
And then,
of one of the most recognizable rock anthems of the late '90s,
oh
early
my
2000s,
God, they come out to Creed, man. The Creed. The Creed
and
song.
and you can
Ah,
obviously tell
brother.
that they're hired because Luke just stands there and a woman comes up and she's like, Lucas McNamara, and he's like, oh, you know my name, and she's like, I know everything about you.
I was like, oh, you're
The
definitely a
very next
prostitute.
shot is Luke looking over, and Paul Walker has two women walking out the door, clearly going to his room. And as the camera pans out, one of the initiates, I'm guessing, is just making out with his girl. So, like, clearly they're
Yeah,
there for one reason and one reason only.
only one reason. Fucking 30. 30 of them. There's a whorehouse that was completely empty that night. There's a bunch of dudes like, what the fuck?
That might
Where's
be one of
everybody?
the wildest scenes in this movie. And every time that I've watched this movie, I cannot stop laughing when you hear that guitar strum and the song starts. I'm like,
I
oh,
was
here we go.
I was fucking dying. I was dying. I couldn't stop laughing, man. I was like, oh no, this did not age. Oh
Age,
my
it wasn't good
God.
then.
Was it? It was not. I don't know. I like that. I kind of like that song to be honest.
No, no, no,
But
no. I mean the
it,
scene.
yeah,
The scene wouldn't have been appropriate in 2000.
No, I don't know.
I mean, so when I saw this movie, it probably would have been a year or two after it came out. So I was probably like 15, 16. I was probably like, oh, interesting. Totally different opinion now that I'm almost 40.
Yeah, because you didn't really think too deep into it, and then you just didn't have that wisdom. But then you get older, and then you start to think, "Oh, Jesus Christ! Oh my God! Wow! Whoever made that decision should they should get a raise because you just created an iconic scene, unironically.
I mean, I'll be honest. The one thing this scene made me want to do is start listening to some Creed, and I went, "These guys are still. I kind of like these guys still."
Yeah.
Some real dad rock, which I'm allowed to listen to now.
Yeah. Yeah, you're in that demographic for sure.
So
Man,
once
I'm gonna
Luke
rewatch
finds
that scene.
just that scene. So
Whenever I need a good laugh, I'm gonna revisit that scene.
Once Luke discovers what's on the tape, he decides he's got to put an end to it. Brings the tape to the police and decides this is it.
All
I'm gonna.
right, this tape. How did he find the tape? He found the tape because he ran up on this big guy, who was one of the big guys from
Exit
Wounds, by
Wounds.
the way.
I was wondering if you were gonna notice that.
I was like, it's Exit Wounds! Because I
still-
call people, if I don't know their names, I call them by the movies.
I still remember his character from Exit Wounds' name,
Was it Bear or something like that?
Useldinger,
Oh, okay.
and he's the guy who's going like shot for shot with Steven Seagal with the stun gun.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he basically attacks this guy, starts with the pepper spray. I would have started right with the taser. Dude is at least 2 times Joshua Jackson's size.
He's a beast.
So yeah, but what he does is these tapes they're labeled because as he says in the movie, these people use each other's dirty little secrets against one another. So he knows Will died in the ritual room. So he looks for a tape marked ritual room and the date that Will died, and he just grabs it, puts it in his bag, and he goes.
Okay. I didn't see that part. I didn't see that specific part. Okay.
But he brings it to the cops, and when they bring a TV in for everybody to watch it, it's just static. And this DA, this district attorney, has the balls to sit there and just be such a condescending asshole. There's just static on the TV, and he just goes, I haven't seen this much snow since my last ski trip. And if I was Joshua Jackson, I'd be like, I am trying to figure out a murder of my best friend. Can you please?
Yeah, and I understand he's young, he's naive. But if you're dealing with secret societies where you can't really trust anybody, god damn it, have a backup. I understand it's
I would have had
2000.
10 copies of that tape.
It's probably hard to get a copy, but you gave the only copy to this unnecessarily aggressive ass cop. All right, sure. Let's see how that works. And lo and behold, he fucking
Yeah, I would have
made.
made.
Now,
I would've
was
made
he a
so
part
many
of it?
copies.
Is he a skull? Was he working with them? Do you
So I
think he
don't.
was a skull? I don't think he was.
I don't think he was a skull. I think you do find later though that when Chloe breaks him out of the hospital, he says that the senator William Peterson basically contacted him. So I'm thinking the senator was in contact with him from the beginning. Like as soon as this conspiracy started to unravel, because I think he wanted somebody on his side, because you later find at the end when all this comes to light that the senator is the guy who's going to benefit the most. Yeah, so he brings it, and like I said, there's nothing on the tape. And they end up arresting Luke and putting him in the Skulls psychiatric facility and basically just drugging him up and turning him into a vegetable.
Yeah, I did enjoy how that scene was shot when
The crazy camera movements.
the crazy edits, the camera movement, it was close up, how
It does
was
give a
rotating, and
it does
it
give a
made you
very
feel like you were kind of going crazy.
it does give a very paranoid feel, which
Yeah, it
which I
definitely
think
does.
really did add to the scene.
Yeah, and it paid off. It definitely was. It worked. I appreciated it.
So while he's in the hospital, Chloe gets picked up by the senator and basically brought there to help Luke to get him out. And like I said, the senator is pulling strings behind all of this because it's going to help and benefit him in the end. And he tells Chloe to remind Luke that we live by the rules, we die by the rules, which is something that we've been hearing through this whole movie. But it's up until this point, it's kind of like just a saying. Like there's not much to it. It almost just sounds like their society motto.
Yeah.
What did you think of the car chase? Because once she gets out, she's chased once again by Shooter McGavin in this high speed
Right?
car
It was just
chase.
him, right? It was
I
just him.
think
He didn't have any backup.
it was if there was backup, it was just another guy in the same car that he was in. But I do think it was just him.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I figured.
I didn't mind the car chase. I didn't think she was very good. I don't think this was a very good acting role by Leslie Bibb overall. And
No.
this car chase scene, I think, was kind of the low point because all she does is she does a maneuver that you've seen a lot of police do in high-speed chases. I can't remember what it's called, but it's where she kind of just nudges the one side of his rear bumper and gets him to spin out. She does that and immediately starts whooping and hollering, but like excitedly. When all he
Turns it back
does
around.
is straighten out the wheel and continue following her, and she just goes shit.
Right? Even I saw that. I was like, what the? Didn't understand why she was celebrating because she didn't really do anything.
No, but this is when
Yeah.
Sparrow comes back, the detective, because Christopher McDonald is about to put a bullet in the back of Joshua Jackson's head, and you hear a gun go off, and it hits him in the back 3 times or whatever, and he dies. Now,
I Shooter.
we get Shooter got shot.
Shooter got shot. Yeah. Jinx.
So, one of my I love the next scene where they're in like the motel, and it just starts on Levi's, the Levi's bag.
Right? I was like, they must have been shopping. They
I
definitely
love-
went to the mall.
I love these obvious product placement in movies. They always make me laugh.
Yeah,
But-
because a lot of them, they put their money into it, right? I think the most egregious, freaking slimiest product placement was in Madam Web.
haven't seen it. Don't plan to see it.
I think literally the villain gets defeated by a Pepsi sign.
Good Lord.
Yeah. So that's that.
Every time I see like those, it's one thing where it's just kind of like, it's just there. But when they're so blatantly obvious, I almost want someone to come up on screen like an old pop-up video and be like, drink Pepsi, wear Levi's.
Right? I feel like that scene in the Truman Show when his wife or his
Oh, yeah.
is explaining the cocoa or whatever. He's like, who the hell are you talking to?
Yeah,
Who you talking to?
she's like, these are cocoa beans from the deepest rainforest of Costa Rica, and he's like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Right? Who the fuck are you talking to? And that's how I feel every time. Or the
And I
scene
mean,
from Wayne's World,
yeah,
but
but
that one was
some of them are like that. Like they're so blatantly obvious, right in your face.
yeah. Some work, some most don't.
My favorite one is one that wasn't even paid for, and it was done because it was an ad-libbed line, and that was in Dumb and Dumber when Jim Carrey comes out of the 7-Eleven. There's the two guys who weren't even supposed to be in the movie. They were just random guys who were there on the day of filming. And when he comes
Right.
out, and he comes, yeah, yeah, and he comes out and just goes, "Big gulps, huh? Well, all right, see you later."
Jesus. My favorite product placement of all time comes from a movie we reviewed actually recently. It was TMNT. I think it was Pizza Hut, right? Or Domino's.
I don't remember which one it was.
I think it was Domino's. I think Domino's is associated with the turtles. Yeah, 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 yeah. But that's usually my favorite of the product placements. It
The,
works
the
instantly.
blatantly
Most,
obvious
you know.
just they just make me laugh, and it's something that
Yeah, because it's like because they slowly pan over it, and the entire logo is shown. It's not like it's
yeah.
skewed at an angle where you can kind of see it. No, that logo is front and center
Well,
of that
it's
team. It's
so I
fucking
don't
hilarious.
know. I don't know if you've ever noticed it, but in the town that we're both from, I've seen I've seen it a few times. It, I compare it to this. There's a bus bench, and all it says on it is "You just proved that bus
I
bench
hate that
ads
shit.
work." I
I
think it's hilarious because it's exactly what a product placement in a movie does. Is you can't stop looking at it, and whether you want to or not, you immediately will associate that logo with the product. Whether you go out and buy it, it's done its job.
oh, that stupid ass bench. I
I
take
think
it
it's
for I get mad.
hysterical.
I get mad when I read it. I get mad. I literally
I think
get
it's funny
mad.
personally.
Obviously, I don't get literally mad, but I chuckle later. But it upsets me. I was like, God damn it! I fell for it again. The 70th time today. Not today,
Yeah.
but that has gotten me so many times that yeah, if it gets me again, then I get upset for a few seconds.
So so this scene, like I said, they're in the motel. He's recovered, and he's trying to figure out what to do. And all of a sudden, the senator tells Chloe that you have to tell him this: live by the rules, die by the rules. And
Have to.
she just says it like it's a epiphany she just thought of. She's like, "Oh, maybe that thing that he told me was life or death important. Maybe that's what I should be talking about." And he goes in his rule book. Immediately, somehow knows the exact rule he has to go to, and all you hear is something about what he calls gentlemanly means. No explanation given whatsoever what that means. But the next day, I do like when he says like, "Oh, tomorrow's such and such a day. They'll be on the island," and he's like, "Tomorrow I bring war to the skulls." And I'm like, "Haven't you been doing that for a while already?"
But now he's got rules. He's got the rule
He's got rules
rule
behind him.
112 or whatever, 100 whatever.
119,
I
I
wish we could have
think.
gotten more of what some of these rules are.
This is like
You
a
know,
200-page book.
yeah. I think this movie would have been way better if it was a TV show, because there's so much that you should have explained
Well, guess
and you
what?
got into. Like, why did Joshua Jackson or was it, his character even get selected in the first place? Like,
No idea.
I get he's good at rowing, he's got some good grades, but like, why specifically him? You know what I'm saying?
Yep, no, I agree.
But anyways,
Did you know there are 2 sequels to this movie?
when I was
I've never
when I
seen it.
searching for to watch the movie, the sequels came up, and I was like, oh, they made more of
For
these.
I know you don't like this opinion, but for me, this is like The Matrix, one and done.
Yeah,
I don't
I
need
mean,
any more.
you could do it. I mean, you could just because this has so much potential.
I think
This
it could
world,
be an interesting TV show.
the it'd be a great TV show. You could have multiple seasons, or if you want, you could still do it as a movie series. Um, you think of it like kind of like a John Wick and how they approach their secret society, and how you want to, you're so enthralled with how the world works in John Wick with the assassin society.
Yeah,
Um, you could that could be the approach that they could make if they decide to make another or like a reboot or even a TV approach. But you approach it in that way, and you make us as interested as the world, the secret world of John Wick. Then
yeah.
yeah, that's why
Because
I see the potential because of that movie
had they done
and
that with this,
how
with
they did it.
had they
Yeah,
done that with this movie with this cast, I think I would have watched them. Unfortunately, we never would have gotten Fast and Furious with Paul Walker. But I mean, I'm gonna be selfish and imagine a world where we got both.
but you could totally reboot this
Oh, for
in
sure.
either TV or movie form, and especially now with, um, certain political things, you can definitely go more into the whole secret society and its deep-rooted individuals that are tied to the secret. There's a whole lot you could do today that could enhance the story.
Yeah, yeah. So we see him row. He rows to the island, whereas the rest of them all get speedboats. But so he shows up, and it's such a funny visual because they're all in their tuxedos and their tails, and he walks in a sweat-covered T-shirt, and
Right? With the butler telling him,
you
"Don't,
can't go in there.
you can't come in here. You dressing like a bum, bruh." He's like, you can't come in here dressed like that.
Well, and
Nasty. I
I
thought that
find
was
it
funny.
so I find it so funny that he comes in and just before that the Mandrake is showing, like, he's saying, okay, you guys, your initiation process is basically complete, and their reward is a check for $100,000. Now he's basically been almost like excommunicated from this society. They've tried to have him killed. They tried to put him in a mental institution, and he walks in, and Craig T. Nelson just goes, here to pick up your check. I'm like, that was an awfully cheerful greeting to someone that you're trying to murder.
Right? You cut him a check. Somebody you thought was a goddamn vegetable in a mental institution. You cut him a check. All
Yeah,
right.
but he doesn't want a check. He wants to challenge Caleb to a duel.
Yeah. Exactly. Again, it reminded me of freaking John Wick, man.
But
But
it's
yeah.
complete with antique pistols.
Yeah.
And an entire like dueling, like setup. I don't even know what to
Yes.
call it.
It was just like it's just a stage for to duel on. I don't know. But it did remind me because I watched John Wick 4, which the end of that movie is basically the same as the end of this. It both ended in like a old school duel.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It is cool, but it's so funny. You see the difference because they line up to duel and the guy goes, cock your pistols. Paul Walker does it in such a fluid, just like click, done. Whereas Joshua Jackson has to hold the gun in two hands, slowly pull that hammer back, like he's never held a weapon in his life.
Because he's the fish out of water. He's not used to it. And Paul
Oh, I know
Walker, he's
why.
born into it. And they had to give you another visual of that representation.
But you get so excited to see these guys have this duel, and immediately they get to the 10. They get to the 10 pace. He drops the gun and goes, "Tell the truth. Just tell the truth." He might as well have turned around and started singing, "The truth will set you free."
I thought he was gonna fucking shoot him. Just the way he was standing there and the way the camera was, I thought he's definitely gonna get his fucking shit blown up.
But what a
And
pose!
that would have been an insane ending
Just
if they would have killed him, and like that would have been a dark ending, and it would have made sense.
no,
Or and
you
I
want a
mean,
dark
that makes sense,
ending?
but it would have made a more shocking, memorable ending for your movie.
No, you want an ending. The same ending that I think they should have done in the movie Seven. Just you hear a gunshot and screen goes to black.
Yeah, I mean, he would have ruffled some feathers because he didn't really resolve much. But if he would have got a lot of things resolved before that, then yeah, that would have been an awesome ending. I love how they were having a duel. A duel means somebody's going to get shot, at least in that context. That means a bullet is going to enter somebody and blood is going to spill out. How come when somebody actually got shot, it wasn't one of them, it was somebody else? But why did when he gets shot, everybody freaked the fuck out?
Because he wasn't part of the duel.
But they panicked as if they weren't prepared for at least
Oh, I get what
anybody
you're
to get
saying.
shot. You
You're
know?
right. So before we bring that up, I just want to say, I find when they turn to shoot, Paul Walker has this pose where his arm is extended and his other hand is like cupped ever so lightly across his chest, like he's posing. It looks. I thought it looked hysterical.
Look a little zesty.
But yeah, so he's obviously conflicted. He doesn't want to shoot Luke because he's his friend. And off to the side, you see Craig T. Nelson grab a gun and go to shoot Luke. And this is the moment you just hear a gunfire, not knowing who shot it at first, but Craig T. Nelson goes down. And that's the point when, like you say, the one guy who I guess is a doctor, he's like, "Somebody get my bag. We need to help him." And you're right. It's like, you guys knew somebody. I don't know if
We're prepared for this.
But see, the whole thing is, I think the whole point is when they're dueling, the point is to kill your opponent, not just shoot them. So he wouldn't have been worried about fixing a bullet wound. It just would have been, okay, he's shot and he's dead.
But what if they both shot each other?
Then they both, I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I
they didn't
hadn't thought
prepare
of
for
that.
any. They just didn't prepare. Like, all right, what if a fucking ricochet hits somebody? You know what I mean? You should
Yeah,
have been. If you're dealing with guns,
I
you
get what
should
you're
have been
saying.
prepared for a situation. It's just the way they set it up is like they didn't. They just didn't prepare for any other person to get shot. It was
Well,
just, I don't know, man. It was just,
and we almost get a second person get shot because Caleb walks up to his dad. The line that Craig T. Nelson gives when he says, "You weren't worth the effort," you can see, like, in Paul Walker's just facial reaction, you can see his heart, like, shattering. And it's
he's
really
really good at that.
it's kind of no wonder that he just picks up a gun and goes and he's going to kill himself, but luckily Luke saves him. But in that moment, you can see, like, he really feels like he has nothing to live for because his father, who all he ever wanted to do was please him and make him proud, his dad basically says, "You are a disgrace and more or less an embarrassment to be my child."
Yeah, it was a very powerful scene, even though it was amongst some ridiculousness. I think it was very well executed, that part of that scene, because you felt it, man. You felt bad for him. Um, you understood, like, yeah, he was just about to do that, and I thought he did for a second, just because when he grabbed him at the last second, I thought as he shot, something shot up. I thought he shot
Oh,
himself in the head. You know
yeah,
what I mean? I was like, oh shit. He tried to save him, but he was like a millisecond too
too
late.
late, yeah.
But no, that wasn't the case.
But that's how the movie ends. Like it, and you get one final scene with Joshua Jackson and William Peterson, where William Peterson basically tells Joshua Jackson, like, this is going to work out for me because Leverett is Mandrake is, or so he is Leverett. Mandrake is finished. He's going to now become chairman of the Skulls. And he wants Luke to kind of be his underling right hand man, I guess. Like, and Luke's like, "No, I'm out of here." And he once again quotes Will. He says, "Someone once told me if it's secret and elite, it can't be good." And then you get almost what I would describe as like a mafia Tony Soprano kind of thing, when he kind of says to him, like, if you really leave, do you think that years down the road, when you have a wife and a child and a family and whatever, you'll be able to hide out from us? And if I were to come and ask you a favor, knowing what we've done for you, you'll be able to tell me no, knowing what we can do to you, this and that. And he's like, "Yeah, I can live with that." And he just walks away. He walks
Right?
away.
Walks
He
away,
walks away, rows away from the island into the arms of Leslie Bibb. Roll credits.
pretty much. Yep, yep, yep. That's it.
So one more thing I do want to bring up before we get into final thoughts. The beginning of this movie, when you see the rowing, the race. Now, this is what, 5 minutes into the movie? You have zero backstory of any of these characters. And yet, this simple race, just on the acting and the interactions of Joshua Jackson and Hill Harper, I don't know if you felt this way, but I felt invested. Like, you're actually excited when they win this race.
Yeah, you're definitely in it, and the way they set up the scene definitely, and the way that yeah, those two characters are interacting, and
And they do something I don't think is possible, because they're an 8-man boat, and one of the guys' oar breaks, and he has to bail out, and now they're going 7 oars against 8 across like the Ivy League elite schools. I don't think it's really possible for them to come back and win that, but
not a
they make
chance.
they make you believe it and actually make it quite exciting. I just wanted to bring that up
Yeah,
because I realized I'd forgotten to mention that when we had started.
yeah, no, I definitely wrote notes about that scene too. It was very well executed. Like, really good opening, and
Except the
transition.
only negative that I will say is immediately after the race, it shows them celebrating at a bar, but you only see those 2 members of the team. Everybody else is non-existent.
Yeah, they
Because
didn't
once
drink.
again, this movie
They
only
had nothing to do.
the only
Yeah, they
characters
haven't
on
drank.
screen in this movie are the main 5 or 6 that really matter.
Yeah, and
But
even yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, so that'll bring us to the end of the skulls, and we'll move into final thoughts. Um, that work? Does that work for you, or is there anything else you want to discuss before?
Let's see. Uh, b- 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 um, oh yeah, the girlfriend there. I
Chloe?
love how her whole thing is she's doing this thing with this machine that
Oh, the painting, yeah.
paints. It's does its it paints whatever whatever she's programming, and she programs this thing to be able to stop whenever it wants. It's like it starts whenever it wants and it stops whenever it wants.
She creates painting AI.
Exactly. But these things at some point are like shooting this thing like a fucking gun, and it's like creating this like almost explosion off this canvas, right? So she thinks it's a good idea. I don't know when this is going to stop, but it's going to stop at some point. I'm going to go on a date and leave this machine on while it's spewing paint. I don't think that was the greatest of ideas for
No, and honestly,
anything could have happened.
I know that
And I
that.
was just laughing. I'm like, no one would do that ever in life.
So I know that that machine comes back later in the movie when they're chasing her, and she uses it as a diversion. But did we really need a 5 minute scene of her like being so proud of this and explaining it? It doesn't matter to the
Is
to
the
the.
machine the
Oh
artist?
God.
Or my, shut up. Shut up. Shut your dumb ass up. But
I
yeah,
mean,
no, I just thought that was funny.
it's a cool concept, but they could have done that scene in
Yeah,
like 30 seconds.
you didn't even have to. Did that? Was that machine only there for that minor distraction? Because it was only written for that. Like, I just don't know why. You
Yeah,
didn't
that's the
need
only
that.
thing because
You
she
didn't
says
need
like,
that.
"Oh,
She could
oh,
have just
I'm."
been an artist.
Well, she's like, "I'm teaching my computer how to paint. It's my senior thesis," and I'm like, "Senior thesis in what? Computer science? Art? What do you?"
What are you taking to be for this to be warranted? What's going on? I thought it was silly as hell, man.
Yeah,
All right,
it was a weird one.
what else I got in here? No, that's it. That's the last one. That's the last of my notes that I didn't write. Wanted to address. That shit was crazy.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. So, like I said, moving into final thoughts, this was my suggestion, so I'll go first. Um, 25 years later, I can't help it. I still love this movie. I feel that one of the reasons that it's kind of panned as bad or even maybe underrated a little bit, I think the main reason is because it's about college kids. I feel like if this movie was about adults, it might be taken a little bit more seriously. I could be wrong, but that's just my own personal opinion because I think this movie has a lot of really positive things. I mean, there's suspense, there's intrigue, there's some action, there's even a love story kind of shoehorned in, but it's there. Overall, aside from, like I said, Leslie Bibb, I think it's well acted. I think Joshua Jackson and Paul Walker have really good chemistry as guys who just kind of become fast friends and then they end up turning into rivals and enemies. But and then you go, like I say, you get the William Peterson, the Craig T. Nelson, the Chris McDonald. Like these guys are all fantastic actors with great and huge screen presences. Presences. Um, I will say some of the negatives of the movie are the length. It's an hour and 46 minutes. As we just said, there was a lot of the movie you could have edited out. It probably could have been cut down to a tight 90, 95 minutes. And I think that might have made it a little bit more palatable for the general public. Overall, I would give this personally. I would give it a strong recommend, and I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Mm, okay. Okay. Nice, 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 nice. Overall, I did like this movie. I thought I had a fun time with it. I don't think this is honestly one that I will remember. I think this is kind of forgettable if you know if you don't,
If you're not me,
yeah, if you're not like a huge fan of this and you want to rewatch it, yeah, I think you'll pretty much forget a lot of this. Um, but I do like, the commitment to the aesthetic of, the society and the extreme wealth. I like that, and the whole benefits that being in a society like that gets you. It's always intriguing to see. Um, the idea itself of a secret society is always cool. Always appreciated that. Going back to The Simpsons, always thought secret societies were cool. Um, the core idea of just like, the working class student being lured by this society, this shadowy organization, and they, he's brought in, and then he's exploited by them, and then he exploits them, and I thought that's pretty good. I also enjoyed the father-son relationship between Paul Walker and Craig T. Nelson's character. I thought that was pretty well done. And also, I really enjoyed Paul Walker's character as well. And his struggle between the loyalty of his father and the friendship with Luke. Luke was good. He got, he did his job. He did well. Joshua Jackson himself, he's a better side character to me. To take on a lead, I don't think he's the greatest choice. I think he definitely got outshined by Paul Walker. I think he would have been a better choice as the lead. Um, but
see, but sorry to cut you off. I can't see Joshua Jackson play smarmy like Paul Walker does. Sorry to cut you off.
no, yeah, but they should have got somebody else to play that type of character, not
I
like
got you. I
swapping
got you.
characters. Um, uh, the plot is, it's it's good. It's a thriller, so there's going to be some turns and some twists and things like that. But it's pretty predictable for the most part. Even some of the twists you could probably see coming. The characters, aside from Luke, it was pretty flat. There's not much depth to him at all. I did enjoy the climax. I thought that was really well done. At least the part where like the duel part of it. Um, sorry,
I was just laughing. I still can't believe we watched a contemporary movie with a duel.
right? I just wish they would have slapped him with a glove first. It was the only thing missing from that. But yeah, no, it's fun. It's a fun popcorn conspiracy movie that unfortunately it probably prioritizes style over substance, which I wish we had a lot more substance because whenever you're dealing with a secret society that has been around for generations, there's a lot that you can mine from that. I feel like they dropped the ball and just didn't really care to dive into that, which is fine. Um, it's a movie that doesn't really ask the audience to think too hard, which is it's okay. Um, but I think it's for nostalgia purposes. So many of these actors, I totally would recommend it for that aspect. And if you're just looking for a like a low stakes thriller, I would recommend it too for that. Um, so I would give this movie a 6 out of 10.
Okay, you know what? That's actually higher than I thought you were gonna
I was
go.
flirting with like a 5 out of 5, but it's the nostalgia that gives it a boost for me. I didn't realize how many of these actors I enjoyed from other things, and I just enjoy their performance. So I gave it a little bit of a boost.
Okay, so one thing that I will always say about this movie is this was the movie that the creators of Fast and Furious saw Paul Walker in that made them choose him to play Brian.
I can see that.
So, for any people who don't like this movie, if it wasn't for this, he is not Brian
Oh,
O'Connor.
jeez. That's what you're using to defend it. All right,
Yes, I am, and R.I.P.
sure.
Paul Walker.
No one can no one can argue with that.
So,
Good.
that brings us to an end of this episode. Juan, for our next episode, we were going to be
Mm,
closing out our guilty pleasures before we move into our holiday movies. What are we going to be watching next?
all right. I'm gonna throw a line at you. I'm gonna see if you can guess where the movie's from. Okay. All right, go. Adios, turd nuggets.
Dude,
Now that's
I considered doing this for one of mine. I'm so glad that you brought this movie up.
now I picked a random quote from a movie and he got it instantly. And it goes to show you how quotable this movie is. Um, yeah, and it definitely qualifies for the guilty pleasure Rotten Tomato movie. I consider this one of the quintessential stoner comedies, and a must watch if you do enjoy that genre. Um, this is a Happy Madison production, and it stars some of the regulars that you see that are usually in those type of movies. We're going to see the classic, legendary movie, I consider, Grandma's Boy.
This, I mean, this is one of my favorite comedies. Like favorite contemporary comedies, I would say. I am so excited to watch this movie.
Me too, man. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since I've seen the whole thing. I always go back and watch a scene or two, but yeah, I'm looking forward to watching the whole thing through, man.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah, this is
so as you just heard, join us for our next episode where we're going to watch Grandma's Boy, and that's going to bring us to an end of this episode. As always, we'd like to ask you to like and subscribe to the podcast and give us a follow on our socials, which will be posted in the show notes as always. And thanks to everybody for listening. Thanks for subscribing. Take care, everybody.
peace.